Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Junix.
Good morning, Dr. Abati. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Good morning, Ayo. Are you still dancing?
I am still dancing.
Fantastic. I'm coming to see you this weekend. Rufy on fire. Would you come with me so we can go and change some diapers?
Okay.
All right, fantastic.
He's always willing.
He's always willing. Uncle Rufai. Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending by taking reactions to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan's dramatic return to the National Assembly on Tuesday. After a grueling 6-month suspension, the Kogi Central lawmaker arrived at the National Assembly complex, accompanied by a crowd of supporters just hours after her office in the Senate wing was unsealed. The senator's return wasn't without controversy. Speaking to journalists before entering her office, Akpoti-Uduaghan revealed she had learned of her reinstatement through news reports and social media videos rather than official communication from the National Assembly management.
I read on the news, online news, that our office has been opened. I even saw a video where the clerk was opening the door to the office himself. So as at this moment, I have not been officially communicated to, because I expect an institution like the National Assembly should have some administrative procedures and processes whereby communications will be written. The last written communication we got from the clerk was that which says that we are not allowed to resume because the case is at the appeal court. He also mentioned that it was within the purview of the Senate to lift this illegal suspension that had even already expired.
This was quite strange, Rufai. We were just talking about that. They didn't even tell her that they didn't open. Well, you know, hundreds of supporters of Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan gathered at the National Assembly to welcome the returning lawmaker, but were barred from entering Parliament and dispersed with tear gas by security operatives. The supporters, who included activist and co-founder of the Bring Back Our Girls movement, Aisha Yusufu, thronged the National Assembly complex, waving Nigerian flags, chanting, dancing, and singing praises for the return of the Kogi Central lawmaker.
Peter for Natasha. Natasha for Nigeria. The princess of the Senate. You are taking your place today. You are a senator. Nobody can remove you. Your people are with you. God is with you. This is the wife of Alan.
There's no problem. You're working God for what?
Tear gas at the National Assembly complex. They were not even, acting up. They were not. They were just there to welcome their lawmakers. Yes. Their constituents. What do you call them?
They are representatives.
No, Dr. Abati, call them street urchins.
Well, all right. Well, immediately after resuming her office, Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan launched a blistering attack on the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, accusing him of running the National Assembly like a dictatorship and treating her as his personal servant. The Kogi Central lawmaker made the explosive remarks while addressing journalists in her office. She described her 6-month ordeal as a test of resilience against institutional injustice.
In everything, it just shows that sometimes it's good to put the institutions to test. We can't cow down in the face of injustice. No one is more Nigerian than us. Senator Akpabio is not more of a senator than I am. He's not a governor of this place. And he treated me as if I was his servant or I was a domestic staff in his house. It's very unfortunate that at this time, after so many years of democracy, we would have a National Assembly be run by such dictatorship. It's totally unacceptable. As for me, I'm glad to be here. And even though we have been illegally suspended, no day have I hesitated in effectively carrying out my duties as a senator of Kogi Central to the very best of my capacity.
And we have seen that Ayo, she has been doing her job. Well, the fiery comeback has already set social media ablaze, with many anticipating fresh political battles within the Senate as Natasha's return promises to reignite tensions over Akpabio's leadership style. I'll take a tweet. This person wrote on X. Another episode of the Senate reality show featuring Natasha versus Akpabio. Can we get back to real issues like minimum wage, ASU strikes, and insecurity? Natasha says she was treated like a servant, but millions of Nigerians are treated worse daily by a system she's part of. Maybe start fighting for them, not just for respect in the Senate. The Senate is turning into a personal battlefield. Nigerians are tired of watching elites fight for relevance while the country burns. Another ex-user wrote, I express my admiration and commendation for your courage in standing up for your beliefs. It is indeed unfortunate and unjust that we are faced with governance by authoritarian figures, which undermines the strength of our institutions, thus weak institution. I mean, I think I like that tweet, Ayo. I'll come over to you. I believe that this story has come again in the front burner. And like, you know, the other Twitter user alluded to, there's going to be another version of a Natasha versus Akpabio saga, because obviously she did accuse him of dictatorship and treating her like a servant. But I don't know what your thoughts are with, you know, the fact that they tear-gassed her people, her constituents that were there, and the fact that, you know, they unsealed her office without her knowledge.
So we found out about the unsealing of her office while we're on air. So we, you know, in the newsroom, virtual newsroom, we saw pictures that the sergeant at arms and the clerk of the Senate had gone to make a show of unsealing her office. And from her interview, we then discovered that she wasn't even informed. I know it put us in that situation as to, okay, this unsealing, does it mean that the Senate is now willing to receive her? Does it mean they're setting aside the court case which they had cited as the reason why they could not admit her following the end of her 6-month suspension? A number of questions around this. And if we're going to build strong institutions, which we continuously advocate here on this table, we have to ensure that we get to the bottom of this. It's not enough for us to just wake up one morning and all is forgiving, kumbaya, let's move on. And well, that's important, because like someone, the earlier ex-user had said that now it's just joke, you know, we're making a joke of the Senate, whereby serious issues ought to be debated on the floor of the Senate. However, I dare say that this is a serious issue, because if we don't get it right, we'll continue to see matters like this emerge, and we'll continue to have disgraceful actions on different parts and different ways from the Senate. So I think it's important to get to the bottom of this. However, I do believe that, as Justice Binta Nyako had said, the people of Kogi Central deserve representation. And it is a shame that in the last 6 months, their voices were literally silenced because there was no voice for them in the Senate. And that's another thing that we need to look into and really open and see what could have gone wrong and how we can correct it for next time. We shouldn't have people in Nigeria whose voices are silenced. I'm talking about silencing voices. A group of people exercising their right to protest, peaceful protest, or they're not even protesting. They're just showing solidarity, support to Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, and we're tear-gassed. For what reason? We are too used to using, these forceful actions to disperse citizens of Nigeria, citizens who, despite all challenges, continue to exercise their right and show support because they wanted their voices heard, and then they were tear-gassed. For what reason? Did they behave in a disruptive manner? Were they disrupting any legislative proceedings, which, by the way, they are not there on recess? So I want to understand why tear gas was used on the people. Let's not get used to nonsense. Let's not get used to bad behavior. I think it's very important to state that. But then that Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan is there. I'm glad she said she continued to work for her constituents. Let us get work done. Yes. Let them come back from their long recess and actually begin to represent the interests of those who have put their trust in them by electing them to represent them in the Senate. That's what we want to see. But lastly, I want to say this. beyond Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, the reason why this was very important was we're not just fighting for the person. As we often say, we are fighting for the institution or fighting for the position. It can be Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan today. It can be someone else tomorrow. And if we don't speak up, we will continue to see this kind of undemocratic actions, almost dictatorial in its nature, happen in the Senate. And that's not what we want. We are defending Nigeria's institution, not just an individual.
All right. Well said. Thank you for your submission. We'll now take another story. Nigeria's First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, on Tuesday revealed that her 65th birthday fundraising initiative has generated over 20 billion naira towards the completion of the National Library project in Abuja, marking what she describes as her gift to the nation. Speaking at a special lunch with the State House correspondents, the First Lady defended her choice to mobilize funds for the library project instead of conventional birthday festivities, emphasizing her personal connection to education and libraries.
In this short while, money is still going. The one for today, have you converted it? Not yet, you see. And it's going to go again. So we have 20 billion, 456,188,924.93 kobo, and it's still growing. Trust me, it is still growing. This is what we can do as a nation. But, you know, Mr. President said I should take a newspaper advert to acknowledge all the people that did donate. But please, can we be seated? As an Ijebu girl, so press, when I want to celebrate people, I would do that. But to me, I'm counting on all the money I could get.
As an Ijebu woman, she was able to raise all that money. Ijebu no they carry last, but I know she's also happy Ishekiri, right?
When you say Ijebu, I'm looking at an Egbama.
Oh, sorry, are you Ijebu? Correct guy, Ruby on fire.
So you share heritage with the First Lady.
Well, all right. In the meantime, the First Lady's fundraising announcement comes amid criticism from opposition figures, particularly former presidential candidate Peter Obi, who questioned the correctness of relying on birthday donations to complete critical national infrastructure. And I'll read Peter Obi's tweet in part. He wrote on X, "What kind of country must beg for charity to build the very temple of knowledge? What kind of leaders waste trillions on luxury and vanity, while the National Library, our intellectual furnace, remains abandoned in the capital? Serious nations treat libraries as sacred, but here we reduce them to afterthoughts, begging bowls or birthday tokens." Mrs. Tinubu was right. Education is the most enduring legacy a nation can give its people. Yet, to know this truth and still prioritize vanity is both shocking and tragic. If Nigeria will rise, it will not be on the wings of jets or the splendor of mansions, but on the strength of minds formed in classrooms and nourished in libraries. Until then, the lament remains true. We are finished. And that was the title of his post on X. We are finished. Meanwhile, the First Lady's 20 billion naira fundraising success has generated mixed reactions online, with supporters praising the First Lady's education focus, while critics question why citizens should fund what they consider basic government responsibilities through birthday donations. I'll take this post. Cassandra wrote on X, "It seems like billions in naira has become gari and beans in Nigeria. It's no longer what can Nigeria do for you under Nigeria's current leadership. It is now what can leadership collect from you, or so it seems." And I'm sure that, a lot of people will agree, because it seems like, the First Lady was able to raise all that money. Meanwhile, Ayodele Ademilui, the convener of the Ife and Arts Festival, has filed a lawsuit against the First Lady for raising funds for the completion of the National Library headquarters in Abuja. Ademilui is asking the court to compel the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to investigate the bank account used for the donations and for the First Lady and Zenith Bank to disclose the total amount raised and provide a full account of how the money was used. The lawsuit also seeks an order for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to allocate at least 26% of the 2026 federal budget to education, which of course is a recommendation by UNESCO. Dr. Vati, over to you.
The first thing, in terms of principle, intention, involvement, we have consistently said Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, means well. She didn't want her birthday at 65 to be used for the purpose of vainglory. And it was in that regard that she called on people not to place adverts, not to send out gifts, but to contribute to the building of the National Library project. Why this is remarkable is that that National Library project has been on the table since 2006. When the federal government first made allocations for that, for the building of that library, they allocated 8.2 billion naira, which was a lot of money in 2006. Now, money has been budgeted for that same, National Library, to the extent that as recently as last year, we were told that that National Library by the Federal Ministry of Education will be completed this year. So here comes Mrs. Tinubu. In just 5 days, she has been able to raise over 20 billion.
5 days.
Now, the gentleman who is asking for a probe, the people that need to be probed are the people who have been mismanaging that project since 2006. We want to know how much was budgeted over the years, what they did with the initial 8.2 million, and why Nigeria does not have a national library, which is something that you will find in other countries where there are serious-minded people in charge. You'll be surprised that these same people over the years who have been in government, some of them have put money together to go and build private universities. They've used money to acquire properties, either in Florida or in other parts of America. But here, they cannot use government resources to provide a library. Number two is that the question should also be asked about the nature of our society. If Senator Oluremi Tinubu were not the First Lady of Nigeria, would she be able to raise over 20 billion in 5 days?
How, Dr. Vati?
My own birthday is coming very soon. Maybe we should test it.
Yes, test it. We can make an announcement on what's trending.
And see whether I will be able to raise 1 billion in 1 year. In other words, I'm saying that, there's...
don't worry, all 10 of us will donate for 1 million. That's like...
I know the lady from Mkwata is very capable. But what I say is that, there's also the social dimension to all of this. Now to Mr. Peter Obi. Mr. Peter Obi was making the point about leadership. In fact, he's not the only one who made that point. Mr. Jide Ologun, this last Sunday, on This Day Live, made the same point. When we were congratulating the senator, he said, look, he thinks that it's shameful that it has to take the wife of the president to say that a national project should be completed through donations. And that this should be the responsibility of government, not just at the federal level. Once upon a time in this country, we used to have local government libraries. Yeah. When I was in Silver Spring, the library in that community was so good that you could go there to borrow books, to go and read. Here in Nigeria, nobody is reading books. And that's why, the people who look down on Africans, they will say, if you don't want an African to know about something, just put it in a book. That culture has to change. If we want our children in the future to compete, we must cultivate the culture of literacy, of reading, of, intellection. But as for Mrs. Tinubu's intentions, I think she's well-intentioned.
All right, fantastic. I did say this earlier, there's nothing wrong with using charity for education. I think it is, the most enduring legacy we can gift our children. So at this point, I'll say congratulations to Senator Oluremi Tinubu, the legendary First Lady of Nigeria. Well, let's head over to the United States now.
Legendary is a title you give me.
Okay, I give you
you are
small.
sharing it.
Why can't I share it? I didn't know that you were jealous. I
didn't
know you were jealous.
Now you're sharing
you don't want to share. No, I think today,
this another name for us so that they'll repeat on the table. So let's go to the phenomenon.
Okay. The phenomenon. I thought I gave you that. I thought I gave you phenomenon. Okay. All right, let's just do it for today. The legendary First Lady of Nigeria. Well, let's head over to the United States now, where President Donald Trump turned what could have been an awkward technical glitch into a moment of laughter at the United Nations General Assembly on Tuesday when he opened his address by acknowledging that his teleprompter was malfunctioning. Let's take a look.
And I don't mind making this speech without a teleprompter because the teleprompter is not working. I feel very happy to be up here with you nevertheless. And that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
It's gone viral. I was begging, don't read from me. Well, unfortunately, he read from the heart. Yeah. Because, a UN official reportedly later said it was the White House's responsibility to operate the president's teleprompter. But the White House pushed back, with one of their officials stating that it was the UN's equipment. While the president's speech later went off script, as Trump questioned the UN's ability to solve problems much bigger than a malfunctioning audiovisual equipment. He then launched into a wide-ranging attack on global policies, calling climate change a con job, and accusing the UN of funding an assault on Western countries through migration.
It's climate change. Because if it goes higher or lower, whatever the hell happens, this climate change, it's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion. Climate change, no matter what happens, you're involved in that. No more global warming, no more global cooling, all of these predictions made by the United Nations and many others, often for bad reasons, were wrong. They were made by stupid people that have cost their countries fortunes and given those same countries no chance for success. If you don't get away from this green scam, your country is going to fail. Not only is the UN not solving the problems it should, too often, it's actually creating new problems for us to solve. The best example is the #1 political issue of our time, the crisis of uncontrolled migration. It's uncontrolled. Your countries are being ruined.
We also had that escalator issue at the UN where, the escalator had stopped when President Trump and his wife, Melania, arrived for that meeting. A lot of issues to discuss here, Rufai. The UN speech by President Donald Trump, like I said, he went off script. And, he literally attacked the UN during that address.
Okay, so by the way, some quick things. I'll just segue from the Tinubu donation and everything, 20 billion. Dr. Abati, please allow Oji call you legendary. Maybe you'll be able to raise money like Madam Tinubu. So please just allow them call you legendary. Let him share with Madam Tinubu so that you'll be able to raise money too for your birthday.
Because he has to tell us what he's raising money for.
No, he will launch book. He will launch book. We will launch book and he will use it for good causes. So please, just let them call you legendary so you'll be able to raise money.
All right.
And there's no qualms with raising money for charity, like it was rightly said. But for a project that is a government-going concern, like Dr. Abati said, I think that's where the problem lies. And the fact that it's a joke on us, that despite the fact that we've raised money. I think in the budget line item, there's even a line item to buy petrol in the generators for the National Library. So it's a going concern of government. And this just shows about, disconnect of leadership and the likes and all of that. As regards Trump, Oji, I'm not surprised. We predicted his speech before he started.
Yes.
Look at the man talking as if he was even going to use the teleprompter anyway. He spoke from his mind. He said a lot of rubbish. He said a lot of lies. He said a lot of porcupines. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
He called climate change con job, which we all know climate change is not con job. It's affecting all of our life. Look at the increased rainfall.
That's why
he's calling, he's saying foreign aliens, go against foreign immigrants and migrants in your country. He was going against Brazil, saying Brazil is suffering. Brazil is not suffering. In fact, Brazil has created a buffer to be able to fight Trump tariffs. He is talking about immigrants. He himself is an immigrant. His wife is an immigrant. I and I was just talking off the air that most of the American billionaires that made America, the hands that built America, the likes of Vanderbilt, Rockefeller, and all of that during the Gilded Age, because America came of age during the Gilded Age, all the hands that built America, guess what, Oji? They were not originally Americans. They were all immigrants. In fact, any Caucasian you see in America is not originally Native American. The people that really originally own the land are the Lenape people. The Red Indians, like the European call them, or the Native American people, the Geronimos of this world. They are not original. So Caucasians were not originally instituted in America. They started coming there in the 1600s when the Dutch settlers came, when they set up New Amsterdam, what became New York, and you have the likes of what's it called, the Pilgrims, when they came and brought the ship to America. So Caucasians too came to meet some people on this same land they call America. So when they push their right-wing Christian nationalism thing, it doesn't surprise me. This morning I was reading Mein Kampf. The same narrative Hitler too was pushing then against the Jewish people is happening all over again. Then he told a lot of other lies and great things. But I think my consolation this morning, before you take the story, is my friend's daughter, Alhaji Bukar Abba's daughter, that gave a riveting poetry rendition there. And it's just a wonderful one, what she said about the cause of the world. And I'm so proud because Alhaji Bukar Abba is my very good friend.
Just to add that, elevator failed.
Yes.
Teleprompter failed.
That's what I was trying to
and
say.
now the White House is saying, if this was intentional, heads must roll.
Yes.
The people must be investigated aside. Trump should count himself lucky. In some other countries, which were, I would politely refuse to name, there could have been a power blackout.
That's not off your mic.
There would have been power blackout.
Just one country.
No, I've not mentioned any country. But there could have been power blackout, and America would have been thoroughly embarrassed.
Yes. But the UN has come under fire, and of course the White House officials also are saying that it's not their fault. Well, still at the UN, Nigerian poet and spoken word artist Mariam Boko Hassan delivered a powerful speech that captivated delegates with her call for global peace. Hassan's passionate speech resonated throughout the Assembly Hall as she used her platform to advocate for unity and reconciliation in a world marked by ongoing conflicts and tensions.
Our world bleeds before our eyes. Children in conflict zones, nations silenced by hunger and war. And it begs the question, are we witnessing the collapse of conscience in real time? Because behind every pact, there are people. Behind every statistic, there is a story. And behind every commitment that we sign, there are lives depending on whether we honor our words or not. The United Nations is not a monument, it is a mirror. And it reflects what we have dared to imagine 80 years ago. And today, here, it asks, will we dare again? I speak as a global peace advocate, not because peace is easy, but because silence is complicity, and so I will not be silent.
I will not be silent. We should all know that. That was so powerful, Ayo, really, 30 seconds.
The first UN Global Peace, advocate for peace and security, Nigerian, and we're very proud of her. And that was such a powerful spoken word piece. And I hope that the world leaders gathered at the United Nations, better together, 80th anniversary, listened to the words that she said. Fantastic. We cannot be silent. We must speak up against injustice, all forms of injustice. Well done.
Ayo. Kudos. Well, now to our milestones. Today we honor the remarkable life of Chief Oludakpo Ibikun Akinkugbe, fondly known as the chairman of chairmen, who passed away peacefully in the early hours of Monday at the extraordinary age of 97, leaving behind a legacy that transformed Nigeria's pharmaceutical landscape and corporate boardrooms. Born in Ondo Town on December 5th, 1928, Chief Akinkugbe's career began at Lagos General Hospital. At just 22 years old, he became the pioneer General Secretary of the Nigerian Union of Pharmacists, successfully fighting for better pay and conditions for his colleagues. Chief Akinkugbe served as the 4th president of the Pharmaceutical Society of Nigeria, bringing international recognition when he was invited to serve on the Council of the Commonwealth Pharmaceutical Association. In 1952, he founded Palm Chemists in Lagos before relocating to Ibadan, where it became a hub for innovation and excellence. Chief Akinkugbe's influence extended far beyond pharmacy. He was part of the first wave of Nigerians to break the colonial monopoly of corporate boardrooms, becoming one of the earliest Nigerian directors of Barclays Bank Nigeria, now Union Bank of Nigeria PLC. His corporate footprint expanded across banking, manufacturing, pharmaceuticals, and publishing, co-founding Spectrum Books and serving on the boards of Union Bank, Nigerian Tobacco Company, Fan Milk, and many others. Well, in his tribute, former President Olusegun Obasanjo described him as one of God's special gifts to our nation, noting that his contribution to pharmacology in Nigeria was legendary. At 97, Chief Akinkugbe had witnessed nearly a century of Nigerian history. Today, as we bid farewell to Chief Akinkugbe, we at Arise News join the nation in celebrating a life well lived. May his soul rest in peace. We'll take our good news report now. Highlighting the 2025 Fidelity Nigeria International Trade and Creative Connect event, which took place over the weekend, featuring an exhibition that brought together over 100 Nigerian businesses and American retail giants in Atlanta, Georgia. The event, which was officially launched by Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the Georgia State Capitol, positioned Nigeria's diverse economic sectors on the global stage through targeted exhibitions spanning agriculture, consumer goods, energy transition minerals, fashion, and the creative economy. The conference's deal rooms facilitated direct engagement between Nigerian entrepreneurs and major U.S. buyers, including retail powerhouses, Walmart and Target, creating immediate partnership pathways. Notable figures including Atlanta's Mayor Andre Dickens, Nigeria's Creative Economy Minister Hannatu Musanwa, Afrobeat superstar D'banj, and hip-hop artist Wale graced the event. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Fidelity Bank, Dr. Nneka Onyeali-Ikpe, in her remarks, said the event reinforces Fidelity Bank's commitment to boosting Nigeria's non-oil exports.
Historically, Nigeria-US trade has centered around oil, and we want to deviate from that. This is a vision that's come a long way. We started off from making sure that the exporters in Nigeria were well-grounded.
It's so amazing. Under Nneka Onyeali-Ikpe's leadership, Fidelity Bank continues to cement its position as a catalyst for Nigeria's economic diversification efforts. The direct access to American retail chains could prove transformative for Nigerian exporters seeking to scale their operations internationally. I would say kudos, really. This is such an amazing venture. 100 Nigerian businesses engaging with powerhouses like Walmart and Target. Target is huge. Walmart is huge. And other businesses. I think Fidelity Bank is doing real well with the diversification of our economy.
Well, I mean, very quickly, since we're running out of time, again, another demonstration of the vision and leadership that Dr. Mrs. Onyeali-Ikpe continues to provide at Fidelity Bank. Fidelity Bank, again, showing that there's something called non-oil export and that Nigeria is a very rich country. Fidelity, by the way, is one of the first banks to meet the recapitalization target.
Fantastic. So, this is such great achievement, really. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. And again, congratulations, Dr. Nneka Onyeali-Ikpe. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.